Hi there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this short webinar on top 5 coaching skills that every manager should have or develop or know and use in his daily job with his people. So I'm going to focus only on 5 coaching skills, even though there are many more, but I'm going to focus only on 5 as I believe those are the main skills, the most important ones that one manager or leader should develop in order to reach to higher performance and help their employees grow. Okay, so welcome everybody. I see people are joining. It's so beautiful to see you here. Thank you very much for joining. And I'm going to leave this recording live, and you're going to see that it's going to be available also after the I'm going to leave it on Facebook, and it's going to be available. So let's deep dive into what I have for you today. It's going to be a little bit different because we're also streaming live on Instagram. So let's see how it goes. I'm not going to use slides today, so you have to follow my voice and the video of for this live. You know me, I'm Lydia. I'm a coach and a trainer, and I have more than 12 years experience as a coach and more than 15 years experience as a trainer. So what is going to happen today is that I'm going to give some of my knowledge and some of my experience also to those people that need these skills in order to build up a relationship with their people, with their team, in order to build up skills and develop and also help with the performance for their people. Okay, so I'm going to focus only on 5 top skills that I believe are the most important in this role that you have as a manager or as a leader. But I also share many other skills in the 30 days skill challenge that I'm sharing on the social media. So you would be able to see there different skills, different nuances of skills that I'm sharing with you, and some tips on how to use them while you're working with your people. Okay, why coaching your people? I believe this is really, really important because if you're coaching your people, you're going to see that the performance of your people is going to improve. There has been a private study, and they discovered that coaching frequently and efficiently their people, the managers, the senior managers that are coaching frequently and efficiently their people, in those companies, they saw an improvement in the business results by 21% than those companies that did not have any coaching inside. Okay, so can you imagine? Wow. Okay, I know it was a private study, but still, those results are absolutely boom. Okay, so coaching doesn't mean that you have to be nicer to your people, okay? I'm talking to you as a manager, as a leader. It doesn't mean that you have to be nicer to the people. It doesn't mean that you have to smile more, but it does mean that you're going to have to take a little bit more time to be there with your people. What does this mean, taking more time? Because coaching takes longer than correcting. Okay, so if you as a manager or as a leader are used to giving orders or are used to saying what people to do, coaching is going to take a little bit longer. Okay, correcting is a quick fix. It's really good, it's useful, because if there's something that you need to do really quickly, then just give an order or correct in that moment, and then you're going to get this quick fix and you're going to get the result really quickly. But coaching is going to have an effect on longer term. Okay, so let's see what are those 5 coaching skills that I'm going to focus on today. The first coaching skill that I'm going to stretch on is listening. Okay, so talk less, listen more. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, okay? So talk less and listen more. I know this is really hard, but I'm going to talk immediately about it a little bit more. The second skill that I'm going to focus on today is asking questions. Oh, Lydia, I know you already told us that I need to ask a little bit more questions, but they're going to feel like an interrogatory. Not really, guys, okay? So it's not asking questions that is important, but how you ask questions and what kind of questions are you asking, okay? So it's also really important to ask open questions, and we're going to come to this immediately. The third skill that I'm going to focus on, it's goal setting. You as a manager need to set goals with your people, but as a coach, you also need to do that, okay? So a coach always works with goals. So we set up SMART objectives and we work on those SMART objectives. So today I'm going to share with you how to set up those SMART objectives in order to help your people even more and yourself and the company. The fourth skill that I'm going to focus on is the feedback. Okay, the feedback that is that has to be non-judgmental. Okay, I know that with this excuse that we have to give feedback, with this excuse that we are giving constructive feedback to our people, we're actually taking advantage of it, and we are giving criticism. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit, very shortly, how to give feedback in order to help your people. And the fifth skill that I think is fundamental as a manager coach or as a leader coach is the challenge. Challenging your people, challenging for action, okay? Looking forward and challenging that person to stretch their limits, to move forward and to take one little step in getting to in reaching their objectives, okay? So these are the 5 skills: listening, questioning, open questions, goal setting, feedback, and the fifth is challenging. Okay, so if you are okay with moving forward with this, I'm going to talk a little bit about them. I'm going to challenge you because I'm a coach, so I'm challenging you. I'm also going to challenge you on how to work with these skills, and we should be done in half an hour. Okay, so the first skill, talking less and listening more. Okay, I know you have different roles. As a manager, okay, you're a manager, you have to take care of the things to be going well in your company, okay, or in your team. You have to take care of the things to have performance, people to have performance, and the things to be done, okay. You have to get results, but in the same time you have also other different roles. You are a leader, and over there as a leader you need to give direction. You are a mentor, so you need to give your expertise to the people that you're working with, and you also may be a trainer because you have more expertise, and you also need to share some of the knowledge that you have with the group of the people that you're managing. This switching between the roles is going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice, so maybe you notice that too. It's the same also with coaching. You're going to take the coaching role, okay, and the coaching skills, and you're going to use them into the different roles. But when you're switching to the coaching role, remember that you are also a manager, a mentor, a leader, and so on. Okay, so it's really good to be aware of these roles and to switch effectively and efficiently between one role and the other. Okay, and why did I talk about these roles regarding listening? Because all of the roles that you're having right now are actually more talking, are more saying than listening. Okay, so the coaching role is going to enter a little bit in all the other roles and is going to help you in understanding your people even more. So listening is one of the challenges that I have today for you, and I want you to listen to your people more. I know it can be awkward to leave a space of silence sometimes in the conversations. I know it can be awkward in leaving a few seconds. You ask a question. So what do you think about this project? And they don't say anything. And you have the tendency to ask another question or to say something, but don't do it. My challenge for you today, and I have 5 challenges, okay? Because I have 5 skills. My challenge for you today is to give your employee, to give your people space to answer to the questions. Give your people that awkward silence, okay? Because in those moments they are thinking, they are processing the question, and they are coming with deeper answers. Okay, so if you want a quick answer, then continue with what you're doing until now. Just ask the question. You see that the person doesn't answer after a few seconds, you can add another question and so on, but you're not going to get very deep answers. If you want true and deep answers, then ask the question and leave the moment of silence. That moment of silence has a lot of power because you're going to discover a lot of interesting stuff in that moment. Okay, so the silence is part of the listening. When you're listening to the person, you have to be aware of what's happening inside of you. There are 3 different levels of listening. There's the internal level, in the moment that, for example, I hear the other person talking about their dog, and I think about my dog. This is the internal level of listening. So when the other person is talking, I think about my stuff, or I think about how that thing is affecting me. Okay? Does it make sense? So this is the internal listening. When the other person is talking, I'm actually thinking about, how am I going to answer? How is this affecting me? What is the next question that I'm going to ask that person? Okay, so these are the different things that might happen inside of me when I'm doing the internal listening. The focused listening, that is the next level of listening, is the listening that you're doing when you're totally focusing on the person that you have in front of you. You're focusing on their body language, you're focusing on the words that they're using, you're focusing on their face, you're focusing on their voice, you're focusing on what they are effectively saying, okay? You're listening to the words and you are focused there, so you're actually inside the conversation with the person. So what happens at that moment is that the external environment does not affect you, okay? So if there's something disturbing you, if there's something very important, it might be a distraction. But if there's a small distraction, that small distraction might not affect you, okay? So because you are there focused inside the conversation, that the surrounding environment is not going to affect you. Okay, so the first level of listening is the internal listening. The second level of listening is the focused listening. Okay, I'm focusing on the person, I'm focusing on what the person is saying. And the third level of listening is global listening. I'm listening more than I'm actually hearing or seeing in that person. So it's like moving to a next level. So it's a very focused listening, but you're also listening behind the words. You're also listening to the tone of voice, or you're using your intuition to understand a little bit more. You know, when someone, sorry. So, you know, when someone is saying, I'm sorry, I'm just going to, okay. Whew. I'm still here. Yes. You know, when someone is saying that, that they're really fine, when you ask, how are you? And someone is saying, I'm fine. But you're actually sensing, or you're intuiting that something more is happening. Okay, this is the global listening. You're understanding and you're hearing more that the person is really saying. How can you do focused and global listening? That's very easy. Totally with that person. So be there. Mirror the language of that person. Look in the eyes. Watch the breathing. Hear the words. Totally focus on the body language, on how they talk. I know now virtually is a little bit difficult, but it's not so difficult as it might seem, because as a coach, so in my job, what happens is that I can effectively coach only by coaching on the phone without the video too, because the voice and the way that people are saying things are helping me understand a little bit more. And also because I leave the silence over there. So if you keep silence a little bit, then you're going to hear more than your people are actually saying. Okay, so for this first skill, my challenge for you is to give a few seconds of silence in every conversation, a few seconds extra than you're normally doing. So asking the question, give a few seconds of silence, and I'm challenging you to do the focused listening. And in a few weeks' time, after you're practicing, it's like a muscle, okay? After you're practicing and you're getting into the sense of the things and how to listen focused, then you're going to get to the global listening. Observe and listen. Don't talk too much. This was the first skill. Oh, I also have the skills here. Huh? I don't have the slides, but I wrote them here. So listening, this was the first skill. Now we move to the second skill, and this is the asking questions. Asking questions. Ooh, that's a tough one. You know why? Because we are used in asking questions as managers and leaders. We're used in asking closed questions. Did you do that? Did you do the project? Did you get a deadline? Did you reach your deadline? It's really easy to ask closed questions. And that person is going to answer by yes or no. Or if it's a person that talks a little bit more, it might answer a little bit longer. Okay, but the thing that I'm going to encourage you to do in order to develop more this skill is to focus on open questions. Okay, there are open questions and there are also powerful questions. Today, let's keep it to the basics. We're going to focus on the open questions. And if you want to know more about powerful questions, you can go on the challenge that I shared with you in the social media. And over there, I'm talking about the different questions that you could use in order to stimulate your people thinking and resources, because questions and open questions are actually stimulating their way of finding resources. They are going to find themselves a way of solving the problem. They're going to find themselves the best way to reach an objective. They're going to find themselves a reason why something did not happen as we wanted. They're going to find themselves a way to make it better. Oh, yes. So if you want to work on improving performance, very often if the solution that you are giving is not good for the person, they're not going to improve their performance. But if you ask that person what would be the best way for them to improve that specific project and to improve performance, okay, then they might come with the best solution for them, and they are going to put it in practice, and they are going to get more motivation to put it in practice. Why? Because it's their solution. Okay? So asking questions is a way of, it's a provocative way of getting the answers. Okay? And if you want to be better in asking questions, then I provoke you to ask also powerful questions. Those powerful questions that are like breaking a habit. Those powerful questions that are inviting the person to clarity, to action, and to discovery in the same time. Okay, so let's take an examples of questions. How do you ask opened questions? What, why, how, when, where? Now, watch out. All of these are open questions, but are they all really good questions? Are they all really good questions? No. The why question is really, really tricky, okay? So it's good to use it when you really need it, but the why question is going to make people come with excuses and reasons for why they did not do one thing, okay? So watch out with the why question. I encourage you to use the what, how, where, when questions, and in certain circumstances, closed questions with yes or no, and the why question. Okay, so what kind of questions can you ask? Oh, so if there's something wrong in one project, what are you going to ask the person that you have a coaching conversation with? You're going to ask, what went wrong, if something went wrong? Or what do you think that went wrong? What do you think, or how do you see this project? What do you think happened in this project if the person doesn't really understand that something went wrong over there? How do you see the collaboration between the colleagues in this project? How do you see your contribution? Okay, or for the future, where do you see yourself in 5 months from now? Where do you see yourself in this project over here? What do you think would be the best role for you over here? If you could do it again for the mistakes, if you could do it all over again, what would you change? What would it be different? Okay, so the list of the questions, and you can also find them in the tips that I'm sharing on social media. The list of the questions can be found easily on the internet, and I challenge you to go there and search for the questions like this. You have like a menu, okay? You have all those questions over there, and every day you're going to test, you're going to try a different question. And you can also go and watch on the post that I shared regarding the powerful questions, because that's really useful and it's going to help you in understanding more how to ask these powerful questions in the different situations. Okay, so this is with the questions. My challenge for you regarding questioning, regarding the coaching skills, yes, I would not be a coach if I would not challenge you, okay? So remember, we had one challenge on the listening skills. Now I have one challenge on the coaching, on the questioning skills. I challenge you to reformulate or redefine the closed questions that you feel are coming out during a coaching conversation. or during a conversation with your people. So if the question that is almost coming out, it's like um, um, is it okay? And they should answer yes or no. You don't ask that. How can you reformulate the question to make it an open-ended question? What, where, how, when, okay? And why in very few occasions. Okay, this was my second challenge, and we're moving now to the third coaching skill, the goal setting. Yes, you're doing really good job in the goal setting part. I'm sure of it, because this is the way that you're going to. This is the way that you're setting objectives for your business, for your team, together with your manager, or with your boss, and together with your people. Okay, but I'm asking you now, the goal setting. Are you really setting up smart objectives with your people? And for them, what is a smart objective? An objective has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and realistic, and time defined. Okay? So if an objective has all these characteristics, okay, what do I want? I want to reach in the production side. Okay, I want to be able to produce with only one mistake by the end of December. That's quite specific, measurable, okay, and it's in the same time defined. Is it achievable? This is something that you would know from your team and from your business. The goal setting part in the coaching discussion is a little bit different, okay? So it's important to do the goal setting as I'm telling you right now, making it smart. But during a coaching conversation, you will have to start with the goal in mind. So when you're meeting with a person and you say, okay, this is a coaching conversation, I want this person to be able to go out of the coaching conversation thinking about his growth or improving his skills, a specific skill. You have that goal in mind and you set up the goal together with your person. There's a model that I'm using in coaching, and that's called GROW. Goal. R, it's the reality. O is the options. And the W, grow. W is the way forward, okay? Or the will forward. Now, what is this model doing is that the G for the goal is the objective that we're setting up during this conversation. So we're using the G, this is the objective, the goal. We start our conversation, or if we don't start our conversation somewhere in the beginning of the conversation, we're going to focus on the goal. What do we want to get from this coaching conversation right now? So we're going to set over there an objective. Then we're going to look at the reality. What is the current situation? I want to improve my presentation skills. What is the current situation? How do you present currently? Okay, how are your presentations in this moment? So we're establishing what's the level 0, what's the level where we are starting at. And then we're going to the options. What are the options? How can we improve those presentation skills? And the person can, you're asking, okay? And the person can come with different ideas. I could attend a training. I could keep a presentation with a team of 2 people to stretch myself, okay? To try it. I could do a little bit more practice online. I could try and watch your presentations and so on. So the person is going to come together with you, brainstorm different solutions, different options, in order to grow their presentation skills or in order to solve a problem, if the objective of the coaching conversation is to solve a problem. Those are the options. Now we have different options, and if the person came with their options, okay, their solutions, then by listening and asking questions, then you're going to see that it's going to be easier for that person to implement those options. So what you're going to do next, you're going to ask the final question of the coaching conversation, and that's the will forward. That's what action are you going to take after this discussion? So we have all these different options. What option are you going to choose, or what options are you going to choose, and what action are you going to take in the next month, in the next 2 months, give a deadline, okay, in order to reach your objective or to get one step closer to your objective. Okay, but I do insist that the goal setting needs to be done really good. Otherwise, it's going to be easy and really easy for the person not to reach their goal. The same for you, okay? So another coaching skill that I'm not going to share with you today because it's not one of the top 5 is the self-management. For you as a manager, coach, the self-management is really, really important. And I'm going to talk about it also in the 30 days coaching skills for managers and leaders on the social media. Okay, a challenge for you regarding the goal setting. Verify if all the goals that you're setting up with your people are smart. If not, redefine them and have a very grow coaching conversation. Grow goals, reality, options, and will forward, and have that conversation in order to establish a smart objectives. In the will forward, you're going to establish that smart objective. Okay. Ooh, time is running. Okay, the feedback. This is the 4th coaching skill. You're going to say, I give feedback, but is it really feedback or it's criticism? That's a good question, right? Okay, so the feedback part is really important. And it's not like you have to be nice here. No. Feedback has to be real, okay? An important skill of a coach is to tell the truth and to give truthful feedback. Why? Because it's not in the interest and in the benefit of the person and in your benefit for the person to know only the good things and that's it, okay? You also need to give the feedback for the negative things too. And the other way around. Oh, don't forget that the feedback is also for the good things, for the positive things, for the successes that the person had, not only for the things that they did not do right. So in a coaching conversation, when you give feedback, it's really important to focus on both sides. And always, as a coach, you have the perspective of growth. So the main thing regarding feedback is the perspective of growth. Is this feedback formulated in a way that my person is going to grow, my people are going to grow? Is this feedback said in a way that is going to stimulate my employee to grow, to develop, to improve? If not, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, try it a little bit, prepare your meeting, and then try it again. Okay, so feedback. I know there are different methods regarding feedback. You can have feedback like a sandwich, okay? The sandwich feedback. You have the positive part at the beginning. So you start a conversation saying that you're doing a really good job. I really appreciate the fact that you did X, Y, Z, and you did it really good. Perfect. Then the second part arrives, okay? The thing in the middle of the sandwich. There are 3 things that you should improve, or there are 3 things that you did not do well, okay? And then you say the list, the big list of the things that they did not do well, and then you finish. But I trust you, and I know that you're going to do it, and you're going to do it really well. That's a method. You can use the sandwich method, and it's really something that it works. But what I want to focus on is the part in the middle, okay? In the middle of the sandwich, the criticism part, or the constructive feedback that you're giving to the person. That feedback has to be focused on growth, on improving, because this is the coaching. These are the coaching benefits: improving and helping the other person grow and improve. So how can you formulate that feedback in order to be focused on growth? You're going to say to the person, you're going to use the questions, of course. Okay, so how can you, how did it go? And you're going to ask the person, how did it go from their point of view? So how was this project from your point of view? What went well? What went bad? How can we improve for the next time? What will you? This is also accountability. We're not going to talk always with we. No, how can you do better the next time? Because you as a manager are going to decide what are the things that you're going to do better too, but also the other person is going to decide what are the things that they're going to do better next time. Okay, so always thinking about the growth. How can they improve and how can they grow when you're giving this feedback? What are the things that did not go well? And they're going to tell you. You're going to discuss upon this, and then you're going to ask, what is going to happen differently next time? What are you going to do differently next time? Okay, so this is the feedback part. Now, whatever you choose, if you choose to go on with the way that you are doing the feedback until now, I really hope it's constructive feedback and not criticism, okay? Or if you want to do the sandwich feedback, or like this, you are going to close in a positive note. Whatever is the way that you're going to do it from now on or continue, it's good, but always focus on being real, saying the truth, and on growth, on helping the other person grow, on wanting the other person to grow. It's really important, this aspect, okay? Okay, so we had listening, we had asking questions, we have the goal setting and the feedback skill that I believe it's really important. And then challenge action, or challenge the person to move forward. This is another important skill. And why is that? Because coaching is focused on results. But if you don't take action, you're not going to have results. So when we have the coaching conversation, what normally happens, I have a coaching conversation today, and then we have one more in 2 weeks' time. Okay, the frequency is every 2 weeks. Now, what I say to at the beginning of the coaching contract with my client, I always say that I do the work in the coaching conversation, and I challenge you, and I help you, and I support you, and I encourage you, but the work has to be done by you. When? In the 2 weeks' time between the coaching conversations. Now, you're not going to have a coaching conversation every 2 weeks with your people. That depends on you. You might have it every 3 months, every 6 months, or every year if you have a very big team. Now, the frequency is something that depends on your team, depends on your company, but I believe that you really need to have contact with your people. Even though it's not a feedback conversation or a coaching conversation, you really need to have the contact with your people a little bit more frequently than 1 year. Okay, so take advantage and make those small moments of contact that you have with your people and turn them into small coaching conversations. Because in those small coaching conversations, you're going to have the chance to listen, to really listen to the person. You're going to have the chance to ask questions. You're going to have the chance to give them feedback, okay, and set up new goals if you need to. And you have the chance, and this is the most important thing, you're going to have the chance to challenge them. You're going to have the chance to help them take action and move forward. One way that I do that in the coaching conversation, towards the end, I say, what is one small step that you're going to do after this conversation? What is that small thing that you're going to change after this conversation? What is that small thing that you're going to do tomorrow or this 2 weeks or this month? Thinking about the small steps is much easier than thinking about the big thing, okay? So if you have a coaching conversation and you're working on a big objective, if you want to finish the coaching conversation with action, it's going to be really difficult to take action on the big project. But if you ask the question in a way that the person is going to see what is the action, the first step or the second step, what is the small thing that they're going to do in order to reach the bigger goal, then it's going to be easier. It's going to be easier to improve performance. It's going to be easier to improve their skills. It's going to be easier to develop new skills. It's going to be easier to take action, and that's it. Okay? So you want your people to move. You want your people to do something, to make a change, to make a shift. Then in this big skill called challenging, ask your people to do one small step. It might be that the coaching conversation finishes in a not so good note because you have a very tough project and it's really difficult. But if at the end you're going to ask for one small thing, that person is going to do it because it's small. We're going to resist it and put resistance, and we're going to not do it if it's big. But if it's small, it's much easier to do it. Okay, so the power of the small steps. I encourage you to use that power inside your coaching conversation. So when you're challenging your people, at the end, I challenge you right now, at the end of the conversation, ask that question that is going to make them move one step forward towards reaching their goal. You know the thing with the golf stick and the golf ball. I always use this example because I believe it's really, really relevant. Okay, so the power of the small steps. The 2 millimeters every day. If you have a golf ball, okay, and you touch the golf ball over here with your stick, the ball is going to go over there. It's going to fall over there into the left, far away, okay? But if you're going to move here 2 millimeters a little bit more to the left, when I hit it, and the golf ball is going to fall over there to the right. So over here, there's a small difference of 2 millimeters, but over there, on a long term, there's going to be a difference also of 200 meters, okay? So that's why I encourage my clients to work on the small steps every day. If you do one thing every day, you're going to get bigger results on a long term. There are also big things that we're doing, like we're doing big shifts in their values, in their limiting beliefs, in their identity. So there are big things that we're working on too, but it's much easier to take action if you focus on the 2 millimeters right now. Okay, so this is what I encourage you to do right now with your people too. Help them focus on the 2 millimeters. Challenge them Challenge action with the 2 millimeters. Okay, so these were the 5 coaching skills that I wanted to share with you. Why should you coach your people? Because it brings you a lot of benefits. It's going to help you empower your people. It's going to help them in growing, in developing their skills. You're going to offer them more support. They're going to have more performance, and guess what? They are going to be happier. Yes, so who doesn't want to be part of a team where the manager is also a coach? So use, starting from today, these 5 top coaching skills, and follow me on the social media, because we're still inside the 30-day coaching skills for managers and leaders challenge. And over there, you're going to have a lot of interesting coaching skills that are smaller, okay, but that you can improve every day, and you're going to really get results, okay? So do you want your employees to be happier and to be more performant? Then this is what you're going to have to do. Work on your business, but also be a coach for your team. If you want to work a little bit more on your coaching skills, drop me an email right now or a message, and I'm going to have with you one coaching conversation for free, and I'm going to help you in identifying what are those coaching skills that you should start working on right now in order to help your people. That's one coaching session, that's for free, and you're going to get the chance to learn and to start working on your skills in order to help your employees and the results of your company and team as a consequence. Okay, so I do talk a lot. I like talking. Okay, so I'm really happy that I got the chance to share with you these top 5 coaching skills today. And I really wish you good luck with the challenges that I gave you. Remember, I gave you a challenge in every of the coaching skills over here. And I also challenge you to have a coaching conversation with me if you feel that you need help in any of the areas regarding coaching skills with your people. So a big hug, and have a great day.